Hey everybody, it's Camille Martin with Love to Lose, and my mission is to teach you that you really can lose the weight if you just learn how to love your life. And in today's video, I want to talk about the cultural brainwashing of women. Why do I want to talk about that? Because that's part of the reason we stay locked in the cycle of dieting and failing, is because we are so trained and brainwashed to focus exclusively on our looks at the expense of our potential. And I want to illustrate this with a story. I recently spent a week in Paris with my two beautiful teenage daughters, and it really was one of the highlights of my life. But there was one barrier to making it super extra fun, and that was that my kids would not let me take their picture. I mean, they really would not get in the picture. I spent most of the vacation going like this, you know, when they weren't looking, when they were in front of me. So most of my photos and videos are of them from behind, which is just crazy. But I finally convinced them to take one picture for the grandparents, and they said, okay, fine, you can take the picture. But I'm telling you, it took me a good 10 minutes to actually get the photo. And before we even took the photo, they spent another 10 minutes prepping and primping and getting themselves looking perfect. And it is so upsetting to me and enraging that my daughters, who are so beautiful, you know, inside and out, and of course I'm biased, but they really are. They're beautiful. They're loving and sweet and kind, and they are very pretty and whatever. And I'm just so enraged that when I look at them and see the beauty, that they can't see it in themselves. And that is because we're being brainwashed. And I also have to admit to you, and I don't want to admit this, but I did spend the majority of our vacation in that silent conversation, that silent hell, really, of the inner critic, or whoever you want to call it, reminding me or asking me these questions. How many calories does this have? How many calories are in this croissant? Am I walking enough to burn off the calories that I just ate? And I didn't want to get in the picture either. I was looking at my young daughters, who are 13 and 15, and comparing my 53-year-old self to them and thinking, my God, what happened to you? I mean, it's a curse. So what I want to talk about in the video today, if you feel just as affected by this as I do, and I'm certain that you do, because what woman is exempt from this brainwashing? Not one that I can think of. I want to give you 4 ways to counteract the brainwashing as much as you possibly can, because it's critical that you live your life the way that you were meant to live it here on this earth, not asking yourself these ridiculous, soul-crushing questions like I did and like my daughters are doing after me. So let's talk about it now. I want to give you the 4 strategies to do that so that you can pull yourself out as much as you can from this cultural brainwashing of women. Before I get to the tips, though, I want to talk to you a little bit about why it's so damaging to us. And not only are we trained to believe that what we look like is the extent of our potential, and then once we start running out of time and you start to get older and older, you lose your worth, you lose your value to society, and nothing could be further from the truth. And that's why I'm so angry. It's because I spent my life doing this, and this is why it is now my life's work. But when you are constantly focused on what you're eating, how many calories, how many fat grams, counting macros, and all of this nonsense, you are holding yourself back from the world. You're afraid to really put yourself out there because what you're focused on is that you don't like what you look like. And the more we focus on what we look like and what we don't like about ourselves, that destroys your confidence. And then you stop putting yourself out there and trying new things. And then before you know it, you wake up and you're 60 or 70 or whatever, and you say to yourself, you know, what happened? What did I do with my life? That's not an overestimation. That's not an exaggeration, I don't think, because when you start when you're 15, like my daughters, and then you continue into your 30s and 40s and 50s like me, and you're feeling this lack of confidence and this shame and this worthlessness, it really is taking your gifts away from the world, and that is just not acceptable. So I'll get off my soapbox now, and I will get right to the tips to help you break free. Tip number 1 is to spend some time in quiet reflection and solitude. And the reason I say this is because when you get quiet and still, you can hear your soul talking to you. And it sounds crazy, but if you practice this, having this time alone, this quality time, this reflective time, it helps you get in touch with who you truly are. Because who you truly are is not this. It's not your body. It's not your face or how many wrinkles you have. And you cannot get a sense of who you are and what you're meant to be in this life when all you're doing is running around crazy like women all are, and you're looking in the mirror and you're hating what you see and on and on and on, and you're just so busy. And we spend a lot of our time, again, focusing on what we look like, obsessing about, how much older we're getting, how much older we're looking. I am not immune to this, I promise you. I mean, I'm plagued by it every day, daily. But I do spend a good amount of time quietly sitting and reflecting and thinking about what I want to put out into the world, what energy I want to put out. And it takes practice, but if you spend time in solitude alone, even if you just do 10 minutes a day, it really does help you get in touch with who you truly are. Tip number 2 is to get your nutrition right. And I say that because you cannot have your body carry you through this life when you are pumping it full of toxins and shit food and just crappy stuff. And this has nothing to do with weight loss or cutting calories or counting carbs or macros or any of that. What this has to do with is you've got to get your body fueled properly if you're going to feel your best. And ironically, when you are eating the right kinds of foods and you're feeling your best, you're gonna look your best anyway. So then you can stop worrying about it and stop trying to fix yourself from the outside in. So get your nutrition right. And it is not that complicated. If you need help, you can DM me or email me or whatever. I'm happy to help. But we really do all know what to eat, don't we? It's not that complicated. Fruits, vegetables, fresh, whole, clean foods, organic if possible, lots of water, get some sunshine, get some rest. It's really not that complicated unless you want to make it complicated, which we have a tendency to do, but get your body straight. You don't have to completely cut out everything. You can have a cup of coffee and a glass of wine or whatever, but for the most part, start fueling your body properly with fresh, clean, whole, healthy, fruits and vegetables, grains, whatever, you know what to do. So get your nutrition right, and that will go a long way toward helping you feel your best and then therefore looking your best. Step number 3 is to practice real self-care. And what I mean by that is that we hear a lot of buzz about practice self-care and how important it is. And it is important, but it doesn't just necessarily mean spa treatments or, going shopping and taking breaks, which it does. But practicing real self-care means to me that you're getting in touch with your body, with yourself, and you're loving yourself. And the only way to do that is, number 1, to get quiet, but also just spend time being present in your body, feeling what a gift your body truly is. It's really hard to feel that with all the messages that we get. But if you practice self-care in the sense that it is yourself that you are literally caring for, care about your body, be grateful for it. Spend time stretching and doing yoga instead of these, balls to the walls workouts, which I do love. But if you do things like yoga and stretching, that helps you really be in your body and be present in it, which is such a huge gift. But also, it is important to take breaks, to rest when you feel like your body is pushing itself to the max and your brain is about to explode. Just stop what you're doing, go outside, your kids will be fine, your husband will be fine, the pets will be fine. Leave the environment, go outside and regroup and reconnect with yourself. That is how, to me, you practice self-care. Step number 4, and y'all know this is my favorite one, is to set a big goal and work toward achieving it. Why? Because setting a goal, something that's big, that seems a little bit out of reach, inspires you. It gets you excited about your life, which is the polar opposite of how you feel when you're dieting and obsessing about what you look like and how much you hate the way that you look. You got to figure out what you're truly capable of, and you're capable of so much more than you think that you are. So set a goal, pick something that just seems a little bit out of reach, and it'll be different for everybody. My big goal is going to be different than your big goal because I've practiced setting these big goals, and every time I'm afraid and I feel like, God, do I really have what it takes to do that? And then I just get in there and try. And also my big goal is nothing compared to what some of the people who are way ahead of me, what their big goals are. So don't worry about how big it is to somebody else. Set a goal that is big for you. And then you break it down, write down as many baby steps as you can think of that would take you one step closer to that goal, and put them in order on a list and take the first one today. You've got to see what you're capable of, and the excitement and the fulfillment of just working towards something that has nothing to do with what you look like is so amazing. So promise me that when you're done watching this video, you will set a big goal for yourself, break it down into steps, and take the first one now. So to wrap up this video, I want to give you some encouragement, and that is that I am so not immune to any of this. My children are not immune. We have really just done a number on women, and if you're my age, you know what I'm talking about, or if you're, however old you are, you know what I'm talking about. But what have we done to women, and what are we doing to girls? It is up to us to put a stop to this stuff, and we'll never be truly fully able to escape it, unfortunately. But if you start practicing these steps, you'll get closer and closer to who you really are, and start putting out this beautiful energy into the world that just comes reverberating right back to you. I'm on a mission to gather every woman together to start setting and achieving goals and figure out what you're truly capable of. Because if we all did that, the world would change overnight. It is such a tragedy to me, and really a crime against humanity, that we are doing this to women and girls. It has got to stop. So do your part today. I'm going to do my part, and I hope you'll join me, and let's create a movement where we put a stop to this shit. I'm sick of it. So I hope this video helped you. I'm really on a roll because I'm so passionate about this topic. But if you need any help with anything, please get in touch with me. I'm happy to help you, encourage you, give you motivation, inspiration, tips, whatever you need. So if this video resonated with you, I would really love it if you would share it with one of your friends who needs to hear this message. And if you're not already signed up to get my weekly newsletter, I hope you'll go to my website at CamilleMartinRD.com and get yourself signed up, because I will come to you in your inbox every Monday with another video just like this one. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you here next time on Love to Lose.